Hello everyone, my name is Pris from Prisperuses and welcome to another video. Today we are here for my May wrap up. I read a lot of books in May. May was very much the month that I felt like I got my reading mojo back, and also some readathons really helped with this. For example, the final book support group from Steph Loves, Can't Believe It-on from Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin, and of course Bookopoly-thon, the 48-hour edition hosted by Becca and the books. We're gonna dive into all the books that I read during the month of May. First up, we have the last 3 books in the Throne of Glass series, which I finished up for the final book support group. So I read Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash. I absolutely fell in love with Empire of Storms. It was so good to be back in this world when I picked this series up again. Fell head over heels in love with the story. I love these bunch of characters, and they all went out on their own quest and got back together again at the end, and it was absolutely fucking fantastic. I absolutely adored this. This was also the first 5-star in the series. Yeah, for me the story here was just absolutely epic. I just fell head over heels in love. Then I read Tower of Dawn, which unfortunately I did not like. So if you know, the Empire of Storms ends with a massive cliffhanger. But Tower of Dawn is written during the same time period as Empire of Storms, just with different characters. This is Chaol's book. I do not like Chaol. I do not care about him. So I was already very apprehensive going into this book. I gave it 2 stars. I just didn't connect with the story, and I wanted to go back to the original story. I wanted to start Kingdom of Ash. I wanted to get it over with. I did like Irene in this book. She's the one that managed to give it like 2 stars, otherwise it would be a 1 star. But yeah, this was unfortunately just not for me. It was also way too long. This book didn't have to be this long. And I knew that Sarah J. Maas intended this to be a novella, and I think she should kept it that way, because I think this could have worked as a short novella. This book was almost 700 pages and it did not need to be that long. It was just absolutely not necessary. There was just very little info that we actually needed for the plot. Yeah, I just didn't like it. The ending was okay-ish. I got like a little bit excited about the ending. But other than that, I was just no. And then I ended with Kingdom of Ash. Oh my gosh. I read this book. This is almost 1,000 pages. I read this book in 30 hours. I could not stop reading this. I was utterly obsessed. I forgot to vlog updates. I was just so involved in this book. I could not put it down. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. We finally found out what happens with the big cliffhanger at the end of Empire of Storms. I think it was brilliantly done. I think Sarah J. Maas handles trauma and mental health like no other. I could really sense the emotions in this. And again, with an Empire of Storms, everyone had their own little quest, and at the end they all came together. And there was one moment in this book where I actually cried, because if you know, you know. It got something to do with the 13. That's all I'm gonna say. That moment I sobbed my eyes out, because oof. Manon is my everything, my being. Together with Lysandra, they are just fucking fantastic. I love them to pieces. This was just an epic conclusion. So Throne of Glass started out for me as an okay series, and I think the ending was absolutely brilliant. I'm very happy that I finally got to read the series, because it has been on my TBR for the longest time. So I was very proud of myself. I finally did it! Then we had Can't Believe It-on, which was a Patreon only readathon hosted by my dear friend Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. And it fell together with the 2nd week of the final book support group. So I decided to read a complete middle grade series for it, and that is the Starfell series. There are currently 4 books out, and I read all 4 of these, and let me tell you, this is now my favorite middle grade series of all time. It has beaten Keeper of Velocities. Can you believe that? This series means so much to me. I cannot even put it in words. We have the first book, which is Starfell, Willow Moss and the Lost Day, and it's all about Willow Moss, who has the power to find lost things, which is not a very flashy power in her world. Then Last Tuesday goes missing, and Willow needs to find it and save the day. Willow as a character was honestly the best. It's just amazing, and she has a sassy sidekick called Oswald, which is honestly the best thing about these books. This story was so good, the bunch of characters are so good, and it's just honestly been amazing. I give all of them 5 stars. They are incredible, and I highly recommend that you pick the series up because it's just so good. I think objectively the third one, story-wise, is the best, but my personal favorite one is the second one because it deals with grief and it hit really close to home for me. And I had this moment where I absolutely broke down in tears because it was so emotional, and Willow is just the best character. And she is such a brave little girl. The people she surrounds herself with throughout this series, like in each book there are more characters. We see old characters come back, and the friends that Willow makes along this journey is just absolutely fantastic. You can see Willow grow. She becomes more and more confident within herself, within her own skin, within her own power. Starts to accept herself. This is just a fantastic middle grade series that I think is highly underrated. I think way more people should pick this up. So if you are watching this and if you take anything away from this wrap up, please do pick up this series because it's just fantastic and it deserves all the love. Next up, I read The Kiss Quotient by Hella Huang. I read this for the Clit Lit book club hosted by my dear friend Steph from Steph Love. She asked me to co-host for the month of May, and of course I said yes because this was on my TBR for a very long time, and I finally got around to this, and oh my gosh, like I don't typically read a lot of romance, but this was fantastic. This is now my favorite romance book. I immediately ordered The Bride Test and The Heart Principle, which are on my TBR for this month, because I fell head over heels in love with this story. This is about a girl called Stella, and she has autism. She hires an escort called Michael to teach her how to be a proper girlfriend. This was funny, it was hard-hitting, it was sexy, it was just everything I wanted and more. The smut was incredible. There was so much more to the story than just the romance and sex part. This really hit me, and I could recognize some things that Stella does in myself. I don't know, it was a bit of an eye-opener for me as well, so I am like very grateful for this book right now. This is a very special book to me, so I cannot wait until the live show happens, the Clit Lit live show, where we can discuss this because I'm gonna gush all over it. And yeah, this has been fantastic, and I cannot wait to pick up the rest of Hella Huang's books. Then we had Becca's Bookopoly, the 48-hour edition, which wasn't entirely live. I think I did brilliant during that weekend. I had 4 hours sleep and I managed to read 8 fucking books. Yeah, let's go to the books that I read during that weekend. And first up we have Rainbow Grey by Laura Ella Anderson. This was so cute. This is a young middle grade. I believe this is targeted for like 7 to 9. And this was so adorable. This is about Ray Grey. She lives in the Weatherlands, but she does not have a weather magic of her own. She goes on a forbidden adventure to Earth with some of her friends, and all chaos ensues from there. This was so cute, it was adorable. I got to meet Gusty Gavin because Gavin is a character in this book. And honestly, Laura Ella Anderson's books are just so much fun, full of like wacky illustrations. There is this cloud that explodes all the time, and I had a fantastic time with this, so I gave this 4 stars. Then I read Lore Olympus. This is a graphic novel about Greek mythology. The art style is absolutely gorgeous. It has like these pink with blue tones throughout the entire book. So the art style was really gorgeous, and I enjoyed myself looking at it a whole hecking ton. However, the story I didn't care for, and it couldn't really grasp me. I do really enjoy Greek mythology, but this is set in a modern day world, which threw me off massively. I did not expect that. And the element of taking Greek mythology into a modern day world where they have like cell phones and everything. It just was so weird to me, and it threw me off completely, and I just didn't expect that, and I didn't enjoy it as much. Therefore I thought this was like supposed to be like really historical, and therefore I just couldn't really get into the story. Also, I thought that the plot was heavily based on romance, and therefore I just couldn't really get into this, so I ended up giving this 3 stars. Next up we have Nordic Tales. This was actually a reread for me. I read this during Polathon, and I reread it again during Bookopoly. This book is honestly stunning. It has the most gorgeous illustrations. I listened to the audiobook whilst reading along with this. This got 5 stars. The audiobook is very much like somebody telling you a bedtime story. It's just honestly the perfect book to snuggle up under a blanket and read along, listen along to it. These stories are absolutely fantastic. I love these types of books. Yeah, it got 5 stars all over again. Next up, I read 6 Crimson Craves by Elizabeth Lim. I was so excited to read this because I love Elizabeth Lim's writing style. I read Spin the Dawn and I really enjoyed that, so I was very eager to get to this. This is about Shiori. She finds out that her stepmother is not all who she seems to be. She's actually like magical. She is a sorcerer, and therefore she puts a curse on Shiori's brothers, turns them into cranes, and Shiori must go on this epic adventure to find and save her brothers. But she actually cannot speak whilst doing that, because every time she utters a word, one of her brothers will die. This was so good. I really enjoyed myself reading this. This was a 5-star prediction, however it did not get the full 5 stars. It got a very high 4-star. I think personally this was maybe a little bit too on the YA side for me to give it the actual 5 stars, but nonetheless I really enjoyed my time reading this, and I will definitely continue with the series. And then I read Fence Volume 1, which was available on Scribd. I read it very quickly because I needed something short. I did not like it at all. I couldn't care about the story. I thought the fencing was pretty cool. I do think fencing is a cool sport, but I just didn't care. I didn't care at all, so I read it very quickly. If you're gonna ask me what it's about, then yes, I could say fencing, that's obvious, but the other storyline I already forgot, so this left like a 0 impression on me. The art style was really pretty, but unfortunately it was not for me, and I will not continue the series. And I gave it 2 stars. Then we have the story of inventions, which is a really cute and short picture book all about inventions throughout the ages, and it has like illustrations and everything, and it was a really cute picture book. And I read it very quickly, obviously, because, you know, it's very tiny, so it was perfect for Bookopoly. I really liked it. I think this is a great read to your children before bedtime and get them all curious about all the things that got invented throughout the ages. So yeah, I'm giving this 4 stars. And then I read Lock and Key Volume 1, which was also available on Scribd. I really liked this. I am quite fussy with my graphic novels. I do not gravitate towards them that often, but if I like a graphic novel, then I really like it. So I really enjoyed Lock and Key. I definitely want to continue with that series. I thought the art style was beautiful, and I really liked the story. It was really like eerie and mysterious. I really want to continue with it. I will definitely buy a physical copy of my own. And I gave it 4 stars. And the last book I read for Becca's Bookopoly was Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Ever since I read Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, I wanted to pick up more of his book. This was also fantastic. I loved this. This was so good. It's just so eerie and mysterious. I really like Riley Sager's writing style. It feels like a little bit magical and whimsical without it being magical and whimsical, if you know what I mean, because this is not a fantasy, it's a thriller. So there's nothing magical happening here, but it almost feels like it is. I really love this one. This is about Jules, she takes on a job as an apartment sitter and all mysterious things are happening in her building. People get vanished. Creepy all out. The actual revelation was just mind-blowing to me, honestly. I did not see it coming at all and it was just honestly fantastic. I did not love this as much as I loved the last time I lied, but nonetheless this gets a really high 4 stars from me. Then we have Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This got 5 stars. Is anyone surprised? No, because Schwab is a queen. She's my queen. She is my favorite author of all time. I love her so much. She is just, I am so happy that I finally read this. I did it during an epic self-care day. I have a vlog for it. I will link it down below. And it was the perfect book to do so. This is about a girl called Olivia. She cannot speak. She is in this school for girls as an orphan and she's not very happy there. But then a letter arrived from her uncle summoning her to the estate of Gallant. All things are happening there. It's creepy, it is whimsical, magical, it has a very atmospheric, dark undertone to it and I absolutely loved it. This was so good. This is, together with the Starfell series, now my favorite book of the year so far. So no surprises there that it got a 5 star. This was just so good. And Schwab is just a queen and she will always be. She has a way with words that just gets to me every single time. And I just cannot get enough of her books. Then the very last book that I read during the month of May, and I managed to squeeze it in the last couple of days, which I was very happy for. And that was Lodestar. This is the 5th book in the Keeper of the Lost City series. Am I gonna tell what Keeper of the Lost Cities is about? Do I really need to do that? You have heard me gush about these books so many times. Really quick, this is about a girl called Sophie. She gets whisked away from her human world when she is told that she's an elf. She gets to this elfish world and all things get revealed from there. This is such a good series. I am reading this for my own keeper along that I'm doing. And we are reading 1 book a month in anticipation of the new book coming out in November. Honestly, this was, again, so good. Gave it 5 stars all over again. I read these books like within a day. They are chunky, but they're just the ultimate comfort for me. No surprises there that I gave this 5 stars. Will you look at that? Oh my gosh, I cannot even hold them. These are all the books that I read during the month of May. I think I did really good, don't you? So, yeah, I cannot even like show you. Hold, there we go. These are all the books! Woo! That was it for today. Those were all the books that I read during the month of May. I think I did awesome in May, so I'm very happy for that. Do let me know down below in the comments, have you read any of these books that I just showed? What are your thoughts? And I would also love to know what was your favorite book that you read during the month of May. Do let me know down below in the comments. That was it for today. If you have enjoyed, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for your continued support. I am gonna leave you now, but I will hopefully be back with another video. Bye!